How are we, my friends? You are very welcome along to this Premier League predictions video here on Anfield Agenda. This is week 2 of a brand new series, one that we will be doing each and every match week. We're going to go through, predict all the scores and the outcomes of the fixtures from this weekend's Premier League games. We want to know your thoughts, so let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section, or feel free to play along and let me know your predictions. If you enjoy the video, we'd love you to drop a like, and of course, most importantly, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Now, I got to remind everyone, there's only 8 Premier League fixtures coming up this weekend because Liverpool and Newcastle play in the League Cup final on Sunday. So we're going to go through, as always, and predict them, but hopefully we get a few more right this week. Bit of a mixed bag last week. I don't have the results to hand, but yeah, okay. Hopefully a little bit better this week. And look, let's not mess around. Let's get straight into game number 1. And the first one up this week is Everton versus West Ham. Look, Everton have been very good since David Moyes has come back to the club. We play them coming up on April the 2nd as well in the Premier League at Anfield, and I'm looking forward to that one. For West Ham, again, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. They changed managers through the season as well, and fair to say Graham's done a good job since he's gone in there. But what have I gone for this one? Well, look, when I weighed it up, I was leaning initially towards maybe a narrow Everton win, but in the end I've gone for Everton 1, West Ham 1. That, I think, is probably a fair reflection of where both teams are at, but of course, feel free to let me know whether you agree or disagree. Next up, we move on to Southampton against Wolves. And look, time is running out for clubs down the bottom of the Premier League. Wolves have inched away towards safety. Cunha still serving a ban as well. So for this one, I'm not expecting it to be a high scoring affair. So what I've ended up going with here is Southampton 0, Wolves 1. Let me know again whether you agree or disagree with that one. I can't see any way back for Southampton, for Ipswich, for Leicester in the Premier League this season. And Wolves, well, they look like they've done enough for safety. And if they can pick up the 3 points here, that will edge them even closer. The next game we're going to have a look at is, well, ironically, 2 teams that were predicted to go down by a lot of people at the start of the season, and Nottingham Forest have been ramming those predictions back down everybody's throats. As they sit right now, they are comfortably in the Champions League spot, which would be an incredible season for Nuno and Nottingham Forest supporters. For Ipswich, well, they're probably going to go back down but lose some of their players. Liam Delap's been mentioned, of course, with a move to Liverpool. We spoke about that on last night's late night agenda. So what have I gone for with this result, ladies and gents? Look, they're 2 teams that I think are quite fun to watch, in all honesty. Nottingham Forest can be defensive at times, but they counter-attack with a tremendous pace. And Delap has been, well, a breath of fresh air in the Premier League this season. He reminds me of a young Jamie Vardy. So this is what I've gone for in this one. I'm going to go for a narrow Nottingham Forest victory and them to keep their grip on that Champions League place. It's going to be very interesting to see if they can hang on. Of course, they had a massive win over Manchester City last weekend, but can they hang on in there? 5 places probably get you a Champions League spot next season, so let me know if you think Forest can hang on. Right, Manchester City, the current Premier League champions, but not for much longer. Liverpool are going to make sure of that. Against a Brighton side that have in Hertzlinger, a very young up-and-coming manager who obviously came in from St. Pauli over in the Bundesliga too. And it's been a mixed season for them. They're always fun to watch, Brighton. Always attack with plenty of bodies. Matoma's an incredible player. They have Baleba in there as well, a youngster that I very much rate, although not for the 150 million price tag they're asking for. Then of course they've got João Pedro, so plenty of firepower. But what have I gone for? Do I think Manchester City are going to get back to winning ways? I do, narrowly. 2-1 is what I'm going for here. Pep Guardiola is going to want to make sure that those Manchester City players don't fall out of the Champions League places. I know he's done interviews to say it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it kind of would. You don't want to see the likes of Erling Haaland not playing in the Champions League, right? So, well, I don't personally care whether he plays in the Champions League or not, but if you're a City fan or if you're Erling Haaland's camp, you certainly want them playing in the Champions League. So I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 victory for Manchester City, but I'm not saying that with much conviction because it wouldn't surprise me if this finished 1-1 or 2-2, but I'm going to put my neck out and go for a narrow City victory. Next up, Bournemouth against Brentford. Look, who hasn't enjoyed watching Bournemouth this season? The football that Iraola has got them playing it's sensational. The amount of bodies they commit forward. Kluivert's having an incredible season. Semenyo we know all about as well as Kirkes on the left, and his assist last weekend. Wow. For Tavernier, I believe it was incredible. But Brentford, I know easy push either, or no easy team to beat. We know that, but they're better at home in my opinion. So away from home with the likes of Bremo and Visa, they're always going to be a threat. They're coached really well. They work really hard for the manager Thomas Frank, and there's a lot to admire about the Bees. But what have I gone for with the result? Well, I'm going to go for a 2-0 home victory for Bournemouth, and for them to push back up towards those European places. It is so close and congested in the Premier League table at the minute that the fight for European places, whether it's Europa League, Champions League, or even Europa Conference League, seemingly going to go right down to the end of the season. So 2-0 for me in this one, but feel free to let me know in the comments if you think I'm right or wrong. Right, next game up is, well, it's a big game, isn't it? Arsenal against Chelsea, a London derby. Arsenal, of course, progressed through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, where they're going to be playing Real Madrid. Chelsea, as I record this, still have to play Copenhagen in the second leg, although that's taking place in a few minutes because I'm recording this on the Thursday evening. What do I think is going to happen here? Well, look, Chelsea obviously have a lot of young attacking players there. It looks like they're not going to keep Sancho, even though they have a commitment to buy him. And on Arsenal side, it's attackers. That's their problem. A lack of, although Raheem Sterling did have a man-of-the-match performance against PSV Eindhoven. So all in here, ladies and gents, I am going to go for a narrow Arsenal win. 2-1. But Chelsea can cause them a lot of problems. They have to keep going. Mikel Arteta is going to get into this Arsenal team, because if they were to lose this, as an example, they'll be looking over their shoulders at Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, and the clubs chasing them down. So I think they'll win, but I don't think it's going to be a convincing victory. 2-1, maybe with a late winner. Fulham against Spurs. Again, two teams having fairly mixed fortunes this season. Ange Postecoglou has had a tremendous amount of injuries with that Spurs team, but I have to say, Fulham are, well, they're a team that I don't like playing against. We've got Anthony Robinson, of course, who bombs down that left-hand side. You've got Raul Jimenez, give them goal-scoring prowess, and they're very, very well-coached side. At home in this one, this is the result that I've gone for. I've gone for a 2-2, a Desmond, as we say. And I think Spurs have to focus pretty much on the Europa League. Again, as I'm recording this, they're about to take to the field against AZ Alkmaar. So if they've got knocked out by the time you watch this, whoopsies. But I do think that is their only realistic hope to get anywhere near European football next season. And of course, to get Ange Postecoglou a trophy in his second season. So I'm going Desmond for this one, 2-2. And then Leicester City against Manchester United. It's a game of the who cares, in all honesty, because Leicester going down. Ruud van Nistelrooy, former Manchester United legend. Manchester United themselves struggling for form up and down under Ruben Amorim. Of course, they do have the brand new shiny stadium renders to have a look at, so maybe that keeps United fans happier. But I do think we're going to see a Manchester United victory by 2-0. Push them a little bit up the table. I don't think they have too much further that they can realistically go up between now and the end of the season. But Leicester just haven't been very good, in all honesty. So for me, Manchester United to win by 2-0. So just to run through them again before we finish up, my predictions for this week, ladies and gentlemen, is Everton 1, West Ham 1. Then I'm going for Southampton 0, Wolves 1. Ipswich 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Manchester City 2, Brighton 1. Bournemouth 2, Brentford 0. Then Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1. Fulham 2, Spurs 2, and Leicester City 0, Manchester United 2. So that's my part done. Now it's over to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, and we will be back for the next round of Premier League predictions a couple of days before they kick off. We'll talk to you then. Much love. Bye-bye.